Denme share. Voy a compartir, ¿vale? Ahí. Ya está.
Voy a comenzar. Buen día a todos. Lo primero de todo, bienvenidos a nuestra casa. Vamos a hacer la segunda reunión de IberLife. Después la primera que fue en octubre, novembre de 2014 na lei. No Pedro. Bem-vindos. Muito obrigado. Eu não sei, vamos continuar em português, minha obrigação, por muitas relações personais e familiares, estar a continuar em português. Mas, graças por esta sessão. I'm going to continue in English, so I'm going to be happy because it's written down in English. IberLifeWatch, a scientific technology and innovation community of good practices approach. You know, English language is very powerful sometimes for putting everything together. This is the idea. This is the consequence of a lot of years of support from the Spanish, both the Spanish and Portuguese communities. In particular, we would like to thank Pedro Miguel, actually with Nuno, Fernando, with Figueira, and others, and virtually very much for the support. So, Portugal and Spain are the kernel or the hot spot on biodiversity, and this is very important, we must roll together. Pedro, thank you for coming. And Lorena Gomez Aparicio, who has been recently appointed as last the scientific coordinator of the WATCH in Spain. She's coming from the CIC. Pedro is coming from the CIO, Centro Retrasado de la Universidad de Porto. Lorena es sponsor y Instituto para la Investigación de los Recursos Naturales Agrícolas del CSIC. Consejo Superior de Ensino y Pesquisa, no, de Pesquisa Superior de España. Having said that, I will be very brief because we are very tight on time. Why this meeting? Based on that, IberLifeWatch is a name that was invented in one taberna in Seville by Nuno, Pedro, and I in 2014. IberLife existed, so we watch. And in that sense, as you can see, it's related to the Iberian Union because there are no borders for biodiversity. It's not clear.
Okay.
So, the big fact. We are moving toward the 6th great extinction. This is obvious for all who are today here. Next one. And the big fact as well, another well-known fact. I have tried to do my best to put all the ecosystems here, a picture. The Iberian Peninsula joining with the Mediterranean, Balearic, Alborán, etc., and Atlantic islands, the so-called Macaronesia, Azores, Madeira, Canaria, Cabo Verde, the St. Vincent, are also well recognized by diversity hotspot. That's very I've been involved in the so-called 80th Century Initiative just in relation to the Macaronesia, the importance of this, but I think this is more to do with the biodiversity community itself. In fact, I think that the picture of the turtle in my screen was taken there in Cabo Verde. It's by Professor Adolfo, the Biological. So, please go ahead. It's very, due to this context, we need to understand what is going on. And in order to tackle with the biodiversity loss, we need to deal with ecosystem species, scale, DNA, time and evolution, the hot ecological topics, the big five, and the main challenge of heterogeneity and scale. It's not the same talking about micro, meso, or macro scale biodiversity, nor the context. In fact, yesterday we got a very interesting intervention by Mirri, our brother and sister from ERIC from because Portugal is going to host the first microbial resources for biodiversity to the basin in Braga. There is a special region, in particular with the ICT-CORE-LIFEWATCH for everything that's computing and so on. But it's micro scale. You know that 96% of the biodiversity in our world is microbial biodiversity. It's affecting morphology, blood areas, and another term. We need this solution, and we need to assess the ecosystem function in order to guarantee the preservation of nature and the well-being of the people. So we need to understand what's going on to provide the ecosystem services in a proper, sustainable way for the benefits for humans And as you know very well, based on the IPBES, the Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, there is a new body of economics of ecosystem and biodiversity and so that we need to understand environmental limits science. And ¿cómo se dice muelle en portugués? Muelle. Muelle es coito. Coito. Un muelle. Muelle. Estoy hablando con nuestras crianzas en la escuela de salud, es el siguiente, ¿no? Punto de no retorno, después de la fatiga, esfuerzo de los ecosistemas, era relacionado con los servicios ecosistémicos, and that relation the different parts and so on. There's one, and this is very important, because I will show that later from the point of view of the eco-region, implementation, and the efforts that we, all of us, were doing from adaptation as well as Andalusia. This is the big money in ICT. And they're putting biodiversity anywhere for the next years. Now they are aware that biodiversity must be the key topic, not only for preservation but sustainable development and circular economy. This has been recently published last year, and we are using this diagram to justify what is obvious, that biodiversity must be in the kernel, in the core. In particular, and the main topic these days here, landscape preservation and agroecology that we have discussed in our areas. Throughout all the borders, all the transboundary areas, so all the agricultural in particular in our agricultural Andalusia. This one. So that the European Union has invested a lot on the Green Deal. The main chapter in the Green Deal plans is biodiversity, but in parallel, the digitalization plan, the digitalization of the European industry, including agriculture industry, in a sustainable way. We are talking about digital innovation hubs, regulation platforms, skills, capacity building, and MITE, I don't know what is MITE. It's a meeting with Latin American, Caribbean, and internationalization, our connection with Latin American, Caribbean, and Africa, as Pedro can later talk about. And this digital innovation ecosystem must be accompanied by the small and medium companies, the family, the cooperatives, and so on. We are very delighted to tell you that IberLifeWatch has recently joined the United Nations AIP, Indigenous Knowledge Research Infrastructure, which is the main activity from the United Nations for the preservation of the indigenous knowledge. Who are we to tell to the people living in the Amazon how to preserve a tree? But the people who are living there. That's a good idea. Same with Africa. Not in a new neo-colonial story. No. By respecting the tacit knowledge, the cultural identity, because as you know very well, there is for a cultural ecosystem services. We need to respect them. This one. So I will pass very fast. This is about what is IberLifeWatch, everybody knows. And you know that here we are very engaged. That's the reason we are today here in IberLifeWatch. Because we are working on the basis of what is existing on giant orders. We're working on IberLifeWatch because it's the most successful Iberian initiative in technology. It's the union of the grid computing between Spain and Portugal with LEAP, or the people from the physics, the physicists, you know, they are always the first in the internet, and so, and based on those as in the we are working very well. Un tema was here João Nuno Pereira, que is a very, very important person from Pereira, from the Fundación de Acceso a la Tecnología, the strong support of this, with the deputy president of the Saberia, was in the OPV. Not just anti-content, was here, and they were very excited about this because we are making these basis, and through MIRRI in Braga, we are making very developments, and for instance, for the collaboration with the Instituto de Nanotecnología Ibérico, for the development of nanosensors, and for the graphology, that is really, really interesting, and for the ecophysiology as well. For, I remember when I was young, I used to design una lengua electrónica, so, and not alone. This document has been taken as a reference facing biodiversity challenges together. The bio-framework-based synergies between DISCO and IberLifeWatch. I will be very clear. There is another Europe, there is a Southern Europe. They say the Commission, Juan never say that. No, you know, madam, that's the direction. And they are trying to naturalize to their own, to museums, collections, they are necessary, but we are representing mostly the ecologists, the ecology community, to our professor Alberto Acer, who is the coordination from the Puglia, with Salento, and based on that premises, we joined all together, and then we wrote down this very nice document in order to join with IberLife. Un poquito. IberLife. No, siguiente.
Perdón. ¿Antes?
Siguiente. IberLife is called Biodiversity Information Standards, what's IberLife? Siguiente. So, because as you know, the GBIO, the Global Biodiversity Informatics Outlook, is dealing with the culture, data, evidence, and understanding. And we're trying to do our best from as a tesseract virtual research environment, it's a framework program deploying to understand ecosystem research. It's a software to capture, federate, distribute resources, applying models based on fair, findable, accessible, interpretable, and reusable data, and to get conclusions. And I know that it's not only something to guarantee first experience of the evidences, traceability and provenance, but also the tokenization and socioeconomic valorization of ecosystem services. I'm very delighted to announce on behalf of our CEO, Christos Sarvaitis, who is sending you a hub, that in 2 weeks we are traveling to Plovdiv, Bulgaria, to announce officially worldwide the launch of LiveLock, so that we have included, Pedro, this is new, a semantic search engine. We have included not only the Federation of Border Taking worldwide, or GBIF, Global Biodiversity Information Facility, also Senado, also there as well, and a semantic search engine related to this. So every time that any researcher is getting data from someone related to all those databases, there will be a perfect traceability of who downloaded or uploaded what, or what, and also perfect traceability of who is doing what, and at the same time, the tokenization of the socioeconomic associated to the cost of producing the data. To come back to the policy limits and the MBA, this is the cost. We need to make it, this is good, we afford. And secondly, to create a virtual coin on preservation, because other people is talking about CO2, carbon. Nobody's talking about ecosystem services. We want the support of DG Research and Innovation, DG Connect, DG Environment, from the ATC Human, Hub, United Nations, that the reason IberLifeWatch-ERIC organized the plenary in September. So we are now in the center of how to open ecology and ecosystem to the people, beyond that. As important it is, but including all the society. And our idea today can be very clear. No blah, blah, blah. Let's do that. It's through the premises of the Alberta and Fish and the Oceano region with the money we got from the resources. You need to say, hey, friends, let's do this. From Mercola, from Doñana, whatever. That is the clear idea. I'm opening the way to what the real area give us. Past this is we're talking about sensors. We are talking about from sensors to micro, meso, macro scale, information systems, or the e-biodiversity paradigm. In these 5 years, we have provided with data lakes, transversal, cross-cutting, and vertical analytics tools, mainly based on the shape, the form of workflows, very powerful workflows. And we got catalog of resources and a portal, fair data sets, findable facility resources, standards, thesaurus, ontologies, web services, go. Virtual research environments like blog, what is Jupyter Notebook. This is very important now for the young developers for data. I would like to thank Pedro for the excellent work done by our colleagues of CBO in relation to EDNA, metacoding. The best system, I'm getting emotions, sorry, but it's true. Our data genomics has been developed in CBO. But the business is you can make it, and then we see. Excellent. When we work together, yeah, and stop. Está funcionando. No podemos ni esperar a explicar pero es alucinante. All the rest of communities, they are taking benefit from already, AgroSet, from agroecology, for healthcare as well, they are taking benefit of this. The developments, network of communities, here we are lacking still to engaging, and that's the importance, Pedro and Lorena and Pedro, you to be here. We need to engage more communities, in particular in Spain, because for personal fighting among researchers in our communities, MBs, JIOCD, and 17 angry birds. We are it was not possible, but now we can do this. Angry birds. Angry birds, that's the style. and access to next generation infrastructure. System Spain is missing. Golden. Maybe this is not really updated. This is Portugal, Portugal IberLifeWatch initiative. Maybe here, Mertola is here. Yes. This is Mertola. I guess. Well, I think Mertola is probably here. And Mertola is here. This is Santa Teresa de las Caravanas. Okay, Mertola is there. No, and all the cluster based on the Portuguese roadmap research infrastructure. Okay? And in relation to Spain, there are 33 organizations and institutions. The logos are not upgraded. And I won't upgrade them because sorry for the audience, I am fed up every time that a regional government or national government is changing to change the logos. I do not want to waste my time in Spain anymore on this. It's clear that there is a committee that we want to establish a IberLifeWatch Spain. There is a technical office, a legal workgroup coordinated by Enrique García, the Councillor of States for Environment, for in-house initiative, Diana Castello is going to establish a kernel, worldwide kernel on preservation of horses in the north, in Porto Norte, and we are supporting them. We went there, the Council of State Spain and me, to say, hey, we are going to. And we want to establish a focal point as well in Algarve, Alentejo, and Andalusia for not only ecotourism, but preservation of grasslands and others, in connection with Copernicus, with United Nations and so on, and in connection with Alberto Janowski in Alianza Pacífica para That's the idea. Sorry if I'm jumping a little bit, and you have got those connections with Angola as well, the scientific, Lorena, and the ICT, that is all of us. This one. And this slide is to thank so much IberGrid, the Iberian grid infrastructure, the ICT people, Red Iris, Spain and Portugal, because we have been working together in the establishment of the high capacity of fiber, both Spain and Portugal, and as well the Spanish, because the Portuguese supercomputing network is integrated into IberGrid itself, because all the communications in relation to grid, cloud computing, supercomputing, and connectivity to apply this in biodiversity. I thank them so much for their support during these years and interconnected to EOS, the European Open Science Club. So that at the same time, during this year, we have made a terrible effort, in particular, between Andalusia, Regione Norte, and Regione Puglia in Italy, in relation to structural funds, the so-called risk 3 and risk 4. Next one, internet projects. So that this started in 2014, you remember, Pedro, you were there as well, about the interest of attendance of this workshop of 80 persons for 15 countries and over 20 regions in relation to the use of making a good use of European Union funds, opportunities and challenges associated with European infrastructure. At that time was Ricardo Miguel, in charge of this in the Fundación de Tecnología, a big boy, by the way, very personally and professionally, one of the main lobbyists there in Portugal, joining with Italy, the southern, just to meet with this, and with a lot of forward symposiums, so we succeed. 64 in Spain, 64 million euro in Spain. IberLifeWatch is dealing with the 36% of the funds, 23 million euro, and I congratulate. We should congratulate Andalusia has allocated 1 week ago 22.9, almost 23 extra million euro for ecosystem services, the recovery of the minimal scales and so on. But this is Spain. I kindly remind you I'm the CTO. And how can you familiar people are follow one. No voy a estar rápido. Bien. The main objective is studies and to consolidate the Iberian distributed biodiversity infrastructure, based taking into account the macro-meso, macro-scale factors, and living in the bubble of the Sustainable Development Goal 2030, the reality of the European Biodiversity 2030 plans, Green Deal, agroecology, blah, 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 because Iberian Peninsula is a real hotspot, and also all the areas is a real singularity. That's it. You can see here in the triangle, and we're talking here about scientific, technology, and innovation, including smart companies, agroecology in particular, in our regions, and we need to guarantee sustainability. For that sustainability, a very high level, the Fundación de Tecnología must define a committee of researchers that you are, okay? That you are joining with the political responsible to guarantee this essential defining what we must do. Tactical, not reinventing the wheel. There are practices. This is the benefit of that. Between the both national nodes, in Portugal and Spain, to put in practice, and last but not least, creation of a shared knowledge hub, virtual but also easy and physically composed by the self-determining institute centers. And for example, we're talking only, this is very important to be, for example, other regions, North, North, Galicia, etc. To guarantee level in Mertola. I this here because Pedro told me, sure, in Madagascar and Doñana, because it's enough all the quantity of critics to Doñana, and we need to preserve Doñana, because it's clear. And Siriatras, this is what we have called between Sherpa and Rosal de la Frontera, we're establishing a twin centro interpretado de diversidade de ecosistema de la região MES. Eu não sou a pessoa a fazer a minha opinião. A ideia é David Dijan. Si me dice otro moro, a dos, da igual, al principio. La alcaldesa de Sherpa está emocionalísima. He hecho un gran botánico. Así lo decimos. De manera propia. Y tal. Y poner el nombre de ese centro para garantizar que a través de aquí hacemos cosas también de autogeo. Que se mueva la gente, porque hay que darle vidilla a nuestros pueblos, a nuestras personas, y demostrar que podemos unirnos a la Unión Presencial con Copérnico, hablar con Latinoamérica, hablar con África. Esto, más o menos, presenta lo que queremos hacer hoy, aunque parezca muy ambicioso. Y se lo estaba comentando, pero viste en Sevilla que es verdad que tenemos ahí un video. Lo probaremos como considerable ya a disposición para de los fondos de Andalucía. Con cierta iniciativa, y hay que coger los stakeholders en base a que ellos digan, porque lo próximo lo que de todo lo que y por eso no tenemos que tirar el carro. Si yo tiro el carro, y ahora otro, y ya está. No es nuestro papel, porque si no es y dicho ya, muchas gracias, y me voy a callar ya. Y tengo que decir una cosa sobre el banco por el otro día. Hay dos presentaciones que se quedaron pendientes. Una es la de She's from Morocco, but she's working now here in Andalusia. She's specialized in artificial intelligence. She's a very smart girl. And then our dearest Antonio José Sánchez, SAJ, on Tesla, the progress we are doing. Please, 5 minutes each. I'm sorry, because I need to just hear that and later, from the point of view of the innovation, José Manuel Ávila is going to pave the way to Livia Madureira. Livia, buen día, Livia, a Pablo Bustamante, la Sociedad Portuguesa de Innovación, a Livia de la Universidad Ostras Alto, también, con agroecología, y también después las principales conclusiones por Diego de los Santos a conclusiones. Y lo de las conclusiones lo podemos dejar para el final de todo mejor. Sí. Y directamente, cuando ellos lo hayan expuesto, pasamos a Katie para que hable de Sofía Vaz, de innovación. Sofía Vaz es la jefa de innovación del gobierno regional, para hablar de lo que hemos identificado, las oportunidades y, o sea, y hablo yo. Y toda la obra de Luisa y luego lo que me parece. Lo digo para que vayan planeando aquí, porque claro, el tema es que las salas son para 2 horas, debería ser ahora mismo, pero bueno. Bueno, si no hay que intervenir, no se interviene. Ahora, vamos a saltar, pero luego ¿quieres la presentación, por favor? Aquí. Muy importante.
Well, I think I speak in English. Otherwise, that would be like one me jumping from language to language. No. When Kwame invited me or invited us to come here, I thought what I could bring we have a lot of work on different areas. And I thought that it would be nice to present this idea of the biological station of Mertla as a hub for transboundary cooperation and transboundary research. And when I decided to bring this, I didn't know that Paulo Celli was coming. Paulo Celli is now the director of the station. So it will be better to have him than me. But anyway, as I know better the context, maybe I can quickly present. So the idea, we have been working, or CBU has been working in this region of Mertla for a long time, and there was a development of partnerships, and there was lots of problems in the region and challenges, research challenges and development challenges that are common to Alentejo, to the hinterland of Algarve, and also to many areas in Andalusia and Extremadura, and also in Morocco. We have had already visitors from Morocco to define partnerships. So this is an area with low population densities, as many in Europe and especially in Iberia, problems of water, soil degradation, high biodiversity, very susceptible to climate change. And so there's all sorts of problems that need to be addressed through research and through applied to the development. And then we decided it would be a good idea to create this center of technological transference and to support the research in this area. So there are main objectives. So one is to promote research and transference of knowledge in these areas of biodiversity, conservation and restoration of ecosystems. Sorry, this is in Portuguese, but I think most of you can read. And agroecology, and also in that area, among others, it is very important, the synergetic, so the grain resources. This idea was also to provide capacity building for the people there to improve the resilience and development of the region, to help governing the area. So lots of issues that have to do with support to research supporting development and supporting capacity building. And we have these axes of biodiversity, ecology and conservation, genetic heritage, including zooarchaeology and archaeobotany. I explain because in this region there is a long tradition of archaeological research. It was a very important Islamic center with a long history, and there's a lot of research on that. So we would like to bring on board the archaeological component. Then agroecology and regenerative agriculture, resources like plants, medicinal plants and game resources, adaptation of ecosystems and economic activities to climate change, and then long-term monitoring of biodiversity, among other issues. So these are these axes that have to do with ecosystem services, research, education, and then also tourism, because there's lots of potential in the region. To support this, we have created a new association that is called Biological Station of Mertla Association, that brings together CBU, so CBU now is Biopolis, the University of Porto, the Municipality of Mertla, and EDIA. EDIA is the company that is exploring, that built and then is exploring the irrigation infrastructure of Alqueva. So it's the largest irrigation infrastructure in the country. And the idea is to bring areas also that are under agricultural intensification and how to manage this kind of agricultural intensification areas. So this was created in April 2002. So this is very, doesn't have 1 year yet, but there is this joining of forces at the national level. But of course, the idea is now to expand the association. These are the core founders, but now there is the idea to expand to other partners, to other universities, even across borders. So Spanish universities and Spanish research centers can be part of the Biological Association of Mexico. And to support, as a physical support of this biological station, we are recovering this building. with an investment of 4.3 million euros that is already taking place. So if you go to Mertla, you'll see the work is already going on. And this will be an area that will provide accommodation. So this is the building. If you go there, there is large panel saying biological station of Mertla. And it will have labs, support labs for people doing research there. There will be accommodation for students and for professors. There will be auditorium, offices, and that sort of things. And there is a complementary project that is beyond the 4.3 million. That will be a museum of biodiversity, so-called gallery of biodiversity, but also areas for studying and depositing the archaeological artifacts that have been uncovered in the region for a long time. So this is the view from the balcony of the building. This is where the cafe will be, and so people, researchers and students will be here at the end of the afternoon having a drink or having a beer with this great view. For the moment, the biological station is working on a smaller building with initial offices and initial labs, but a small thing, but there is already a lot of work going on. There are students working there. There are lots of projects that have been submitted. There are partnerships with several institutions, summer courses, meetings, and so it's mostly the work of Paulo that is coordinating these initiatives. And just a few that are, of course, of common interest across the southwest of Iberia. So, for instance, things linked to the management of red leg partridge, diseases and how they spread, how they can be explored sustainably. Rabbits and Iberian hare, also on demography, on diseases. Of course, diseases is the kind of thing that does not respect borders. If we want to understand the epidemiology of diseases on how affect the wildlife, we need to work across borders. Of course, there's no sense of restricting to one region. Another thing that does not make sense to restrict is the movements of birds. There's lots of work on the movements of birds. In this area, there is already a strong partnership with Junta de Extremadura. We are working together with them. They are contracting us for following birds and to assess the impacts of solar energy and solar energy platforms, and both the impacts and planning where those should be. These are made by us. So we have a small partnership that is building the loggers, and of course there are also surveys of these kinds of birds, and like very threatened, such as the little bustard or the Montagues area, that of course make no sense to stop in the border. So that's absolutely great. So, because the populations go beyond the border. So and that happens both in the north and in the south. We should do it together. There is no sense. And the same with the birds. So the birds, we have now, we get birds going from Portugal to Spain, from Extremadura to Andalusia, from Extremadura to Portugal. Of course, they move across borders. They don't care about it. Also, we have, based on, because of the insect decline, there are also monitoring of insects. We are building a large barcode reference collection for all the insects in southern Portugal, but it will make sense to do it across borders. And we are also working, as Juani was saying, with metagenomics and metabarcoding to, for instance, to get these mixtures of insects, and then we just grind them and say, and put it in the BIMBI, the machine, and say what all the species are there just through DNA sequencing. We are also working on freshwater mussels and on loggers. Our research center has developed loggers that are programmable through mobile phones, and they can be deployed for years with very efficient batteries, and they can record at very high frequency of recording of temperature measurements, and they can be used for monitoring temperature change and how they change, for instance, inside water. These kinds of loggers that we have developed have now been deployed from Antarctica to the Arctic, all along the coast of the Atlantic, and also summer schools. This is the summer school with Montpellier, and we can start planning for the next year. People can bring here students. They can be in the field. It's very close to the field, so this is one of the things that were organized. We have had the visit of international researchers. For instance, this is Jeremy Searle from Cornell. We are having interest from Cornell of it. Paul can talk more about this. We have the interest from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology doing summer courses here, and conferences and national journal workshops. So the idea is this is the start with not much infrastructure. In 1 year, there will be the infrastructure. So all this will be ready in about 1 year, hopefully, and then the work will be much more. For instance, this is getting very high profile. The Portuguese FCT just a few months ago got us 20 PhD grants for being applied in that region. So we are managing, I think it's 5 per year during 4 years, or 4 per year during 5 years. And this has been considered very, very interesting, linking development and science. A few weeks ago, we had the European Commissioner for European Cohesion visiting these facilities and saying this is a very good way to spend structural funds. And this is the kind of thing that can leverage transboundary cooperation. And thank you. Sorry. I don't know if there are no time for questions. So this is mostly the work of Paul, of course, not alone, but this is the big irresponsible for this happening.
Let's give life to our people. It's very I work very much when I saw the fact of the cancer, for instance. It's very important. Understand the sustainability, landscape,
I'm sorry.
When I say
We can discuss this later. Probably we need to.
because Lorena is this.
Well, I mean, I don't have no, I don't have. Well, there are various small groups here. I'm totally new to all these meetings. I think that Pedro has been involved in LifeWatch and in a long time, because we are talking about meetings in 2014. So that's great. I have a lot to learn, but I'm very excited to be here because what Pedro has been telling us today in his talk about what they are doing, what they want to do is so similar to what we do in Spain and the problem that we have. I mean, I come from an institute focused on agriculture and natural resources, and my expertise is in oak forest, dehesas, montados, agriculture. So there are so many things that we can do together that it would be great if we can put the scientific community, not first in Spain and then with the Portuguese community, because it's so difficult to do things together. We are so, how do you say, atomizados. Spread.
17 angry birds.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to discuss here how we can join our effort to do big things. Because I think we have the capacity, and of course, LifeWatch has so many tools, but that we need to discuss how to do it. I think we can, but where to start? I mean, there are so many ideas out there, but as I said, I'm new. I don't have a presentation, and I hope that in the next future meetings I will be able to show how we are getting forward in doing things together, and I don't know, have too many things to say, just to present myself and the SIG community. I mean, I'm very proud of researchers in Spain. I think we have a capacity to do things, but it's true that we have a problem of doing many small things, and we need to go beyond that. We need to join our efforts, and that's what the idea of the FEATHER project that we have now. For example, we right now have a big project where 40 or 50 researchers from the SIG, we are together in the same project, trying to put together biodiversity information from all types of systems, terrestrial, rivers, animals, plants, all together. The idea is to do something bigger than the little project that we usually do on ourselves, right? So I hope that the federal funds will launch or will make us collaborate more and build big data sets that the international community can use, and that we learn how important it is to do things together, not just to do our small projects with our little money, just to talk and search. I mean, sorry, compartir, share, not search, and share what we do. It's like we are afraid of sharing. I mean, and the spirit of LifeWatch is to share, right? And that's something that we need to learn. I hope we will improve in the next years.
I know that you are in the next one. Taking that vision, when we design the ministry all of these and more also, the Sutra Force, part of that money is allocated to internationalization to be shared with the other regions. So although the money must be invested in Andalusia, the idea is to take benefit and to hire people with expertise for our colleagues. Because when we saw over there the Spain birds there, it's useless. We are not measuring beyond the border. It makes no sense. And there is a, for instance, let's take a note and we will see later. There is a great initiative that under the species of Suhari. Suhari is the name, the acronym, the project is. It's called CAF, Anti-Migratory First Initiative. And there is a structure with Cabo Verde and Burkina Faso. And Angola. What can I say? What can I say on that? And we got the money. Later we are looking, because we got the money. Later to say, okay, you got the money, let's go to do this together. It's useless.
If I may very quickly, so we are working very closely with the Extremadura. And I always thought why Extremadura is working with us and not with Andalusia. And it's easier. They prefer, it's easier to work with us. So we can facilitate our work between Spanish regions.
Absolutely. And now what's the best? Now the changes in Andalusia. In fact, Alan Casals, who's working there in the United Nations in Vienna, tomorrow is going to report in the evening to the Secretary General of Interior, who is managing all the funds for El Regio, Algarve, and Tejo, and Altia, because now the presidency is, he's going to report and to say, we identify, in addition to the money I told you before, now very well, this, and this. And the Deputy President of Andalusia, Antonio Sanz, told me, Juanmi, whatever, do that. Money cannot go back. We need to invest, it's Andalusia, but no, it's Algarve, and Tejo, and Andalusia, it's the we must grow the zero mentality, overcome the zero mentality of our people, our father, our grandfather, had fought a lot to destroy, let me say, the fucking border. And due to the stop-bomb people, it could get again. We will not allow that. No. I'm starting from the point of view, or there are no laws of biodiversity. No. Now Saramago is moving there. We will do that with action. We are doing that. Not the next with Doriana, we are political, and all it's a brigadier with French personnel. The 90% are good personnel, 10%, but that's many organizations. Zero and open-minded people. And this is the way forward. And later, Katie will show what is going in the Taranto now. Building in Madagascar for these things.
So just one further note that I think is important. because we are doing exactly the same, which is a bit more delayed in the north, in National Park of ERIC, and it's another place like this. It will be called Branda Científica, and it's also a place that we are investing to rehabilitate, and it will be a partnership with both all institutions from northern Portugal, but also from Galicia. And there is also already a memorandum of understanding that includes the University of Santiago de Compostela and others. So so we are doing this in both places. In the most Mediterranean area, very dry, very arid, and then in the most humid and Atlantic area. This in partnership, it should be in partnership with the Galicia and Extremadura. The weather should be at least Galicia.
If I may, and just no jumping, I will pass the floor. José Manuel, estate preparando esa presentación, por favor. Just to lead you, we are moving now with our legal services in IberLifeWatch, the possibility of establishing even an international foundation for the Euroregion, for the efficient, IberLifeWatch can transfer money to, just to make an example of how to work together with in a common pot, of funds, together to take benefit of all of this. As an ERIC, we are to do that and to show, to demonstrate with the rest of Europe that together we can do that strong. So we don't like block, because if we got the best line block engaging everyone, we can unify Extremadura con Andalucía. And now, Paulo, this is related to the agroecology, and what are the main topics for you?
Thank you. I think this is an excellent conversation. This is a small group. I like a lot the conversation that you are taking together. A little bit about the collaboration, right? We need a change in our mentality. We need a change of paradigm about cooperation, collaboration to be competitive with our world. No, we don't work. Well, we can work in our ecosystem, but together, all together, can do bigger things, as you mentioned. I want to bring here some when we were talking before the debate before about science. We were talking about technology briefly. We have some reminding presentation about this, but we want to talk here about innovation, about how to bring these science, these technologies, these advances to the new business models, to the community, to cooperatives, to farmers in the field of agriculture, with the concept of agroecology. Very briefly, I have here a big presentation, but I will try to do this shortly. We know that modern agriculture is characterized by high-intensive use of resources, and it creates a lot of externalities, such as massive deforestation, water scarcity, biodiversity loss, soil depletion, etc. So the last year, the European Commission is taking a lot of care on this. And we all now have the Green Deal, the Farm to Fork strategy, the European 2030 biodiversity strategy, and they put the focus there on agroecology. The agroecology in a sense of science of ecological processes, but applied in this case to agriculture, to the agricultural production systems. They're trying to improve science to put together with technology and with a concept that we bring here a lot of times, the traditional knowledge, the indigenous knowledge, that it is its essence to apply, to create a transition to more sustainable systems. For that reason, for all these ingredients, for the European context that we already have right now, and the research line that is encouraged by the European Commission and the United Nations, we created a working group together, and in this working group we work together with Portugal. We had some months ago a common presentation with Portugal, but also with other partners from IberLifeWatch-ERIC, with the objective to promote and facilitate the transition toward agroecology through the use of digital tools and networking. We were sitting all together, trying to define what you do as a research community, what we can do as IberLifeWatch-ERIC, and work together to create some innovation and bring them to the field, to the policymakers, as we mentioned in that meeting, but also to the cooperatives, to the farmers, advisors, etc. What we are doing in LifeWatch-ERIC, we are launching. We are part of 3 European projects that we are developing all together. One is already it's a project that are bringing together the future or the basis of the future European network on agroecology, living labs, and research infrastructure. In this project, we have a pilot network of research infrastructure and living labs, and we in LifeWatch-ERIC we are creating the tools, digital tools to help them to bring together, to manage the knowledge and to know each other, to promote the networking, and also to provide tools for knowledge sharing. In the way using our virtual research environment. This is spaces in which you can manage data, you can have different tools to create new knowledge and to share this, improving collaboration. With this virtual research environment, data are open, are easy to locate, are well described, are transparent, are reproducible, and interoperable. It brings all the characteristics that data needs to have in this European context. How we are doing this? We are working directly with living labs and other research infrastructure to define what are the needs that they have. In this case, for this knowledge sharing of this networking. So what we did to sit all together in different workshops, to identify their needs, to define the best use cases for the short time to develop all together, and then we are going to validate and evaluate this with them, directly with them. This is a way in which we can work together from a bottom-up perspective to bring innovation to reality. What we are doing, we are collecting information from the research infrastructure, living labs and other data sources. We are creating a virtual research environment based on the data they already have or they need to collect information and provide different tools to contribute to this transition. In this way, we are creating a platform to facilitate the access to this agroecology-related information in a safe, secure, and trustworthy system. Sorry that I'm explaining this very quickly. We can discuss this later if it's needed. What we want to obtain with this virtual research environment, we want to have a tool for the future European partnership for sharing knowledge, data, and facilitate networking. We are right now in the development phase. We are working with our developers to have this tool, and we are going to present them at the end of the year, and we are going to validate with the community during this year. But with this information and this modular tool, what we want to have is different services that can help farmers and farmers associations by enlarging their network firstly, but also they can, with these tools, monetize their know-how, sharing what they already know based on some payment system if needed, using the blockchain technology that we already have, or help them to participate in new funding calls from the European Commission, funding this partnership, etc. Another tool that can be provided with this virtual research environment in the long term is some accounting services in which they can valorize their ecosystem services that they are producing. They are related with their agroecological practices, also using the blockchain system that we already have. And with this, we want to help the regional governments to apply the common agricultural policy, for example. But also, with all this information about this best practice, we can contribute, we can help policymakers or the funders and to prioritize what is working, what is not, at farm scale or at bigger scale. This is in already. This is just the seed of this virtual research experiment that we are visualizing for the long term, and for the long term, we also have. So we just started the AgroServe project in the 1st of September, in which we are collaborating with other research infrastructure, the most important research infrastructure in Europe, to provide these modules, the different modules of the virtual research environment for the following 5 years, directly based on the needs of the community. And a new, you will know later about research. Livia also can share some comments about this project that we are working together with UTAC. And also we will start a new project 1st of January next year. It's Path to There, in which we want to contribute to, we want to help the data providers and the digital providers, the technology providers working on agroecology. LifeWatch-ERIC is developing an open repository that will be part of our virtual research environment and for the European Commission to help the community, the farmers, the cooperatives, etc., to take their technology to push forward the agroecological practice. So, what we are doing in this roadmap that we are developing together with Portugal and with other colleagues from LifeWatch-ERIC community, we want to take the concept, the ideas that are in the public, in the policies, based on the international organization and the European Union, trying to guarantee this, the development of this, and the transition to these more sustainable and resilient agri-food systems. And how we are doing this, as Kwame usually said, not reinventing the wheel. We don't want to create anything from scratch. We want to work together with the existing community of practice to ask them what you really need and work together with them to promote these good practices. And how we are doing this with our tools, with the virtual test environment, with the LifeLog system, with all the tools that can use for sharing knowledge and for promote the innovation in this agroecology and the agroecology sector to promote this more sustainable practice. So sorry because I speak very quickly. We don't have much time, but we can discuss about this whenever you want.
But it's very important. This already, all these projects have been funded to LifeWatch-ERIC. And there is a sharing, breaking down of the budget. And there is a breakdown for Portugal as well in collaboration, but for Portuguese communities. So next Monday, Lucas, the CFO, Christos, the CEO, and myself, I'm going to meet to finalize the report, to say, okay, for agroecology, for this, and you, because this, who show interest? Portugal, Bulgaria, Greece, and Spain. And this is the idea. And Jose Manuel is our agroecology officer to coordinate all these efforts. And Phillips as well, so.
Yeah, this is one thing that I would like to ask, because in some way, this is our big philosophy in this philosophy of commerce, is doing a living one. Even we are already using this, but as far as I know, because there are other people, the vice president of the municipality that is really keen on agroecology. But as far as I know, we are not on this network. Is it possible to?
Yeah. For that reason, I invite you to the meeting on the 2nd of November.
You are already.
I know that we are already on, but just
we are preparing this network. So we are creating tools for the European Commission to inform, map the initiatives in Europe, and the meeting on 13th May is for that. Explain you what is already. People from the RAI will explain the concepts that are behind the project, and we are explaining and we are showing a questionnaire. So what we want is to know you, and also that you know us. No, that's the idea to keep. This is something that I mentioned before. No, it's something that is, we are creating. Together with the European Commission, we are supporting them. But this is something that we are creating new thing. No, this is partnership, and this is a very special partnership, a network, and it's complex, and we are launching step by step.
I think that
Yes, I have a question. So for me to understand, because I'm quite new here. So this project is thought not only for LifeWatch in Spain, but also for other members of LifeWatch, like Portugal, Greece, etc. Exactly. Because actually,
Serbia is also there. And it's not even
Serbia is there.
European Union.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Serbia is outside.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the fact, like this summer, the drought that we had in all of Central Europe, for instance, countries like Germany, France, etc. And everybody was shocked. So actually, when you talk about providing services to farmers and becoming more resilient, this is something that applies to the whole of Europe. But then when you talk about public administration, there might be, let's say, smaller countries in Central and Eastern Europe that actually might be very amazed to know what is going on. So that's a wonderful tool. Is this scalable? I mean, can you scale this up to incorporate other countries and other initiatives?
It's the same with this philosophy. Yesterday we had a meeting with the developer trying to think in the future. So because the basement of this tool needs to think about the possibility, the different use cases for the future. So we are developing the tool. For that reason, we have a roadmap for the tool, no? And we have this vision to give this tool to the partnership. Yeah. So the partnership it's formed by different countries in Europe. And one thing from agroecology is that you need to think globally because the concept about ecology are the same, but you need to apply locally.
Yes, exactly.
So one of the important things of this tool is to connect people who are very good at some specific techniques, etc., for example, from Southern Europe, and teach other from Northern Europe based in an economical transition. This is, and I think this is required it's a requirement by the community, farmers or cooperatives, and this is a new business model that can also help to build strength, no, and connections between them.
Plus another component, when I'm thinking about forestry in places like Austria, like in Austria, like you plant onions or you plant trees, but basically it's the same. Like they look at planting trees and they are not farmers, but kind of. Okay, so would this be also a project that could apply to this kind of needs? Because actually something that's going on right now is that people are thinking like we need to change the species or we need to change because of climate change, you know, and we will plant the vine somewhere else with more altitude, etc. You know? So
we commented in that meeting about this totally. Agroecology has some principles, some elements defined by FAO and high-level team, and what we want to do is to bring this international concept to Europe, no, to the field work, to the field, no, but also applied to agriculture, to livestock, to forestry. Agroforestry is a part of agroecology. It can be a part of agroecology. And what we commented in the meeting in Seville some months ago, it's that we also need to focus not only in the farm, but also at a bigger scale, no, at a landscape scale in which you have different farms, different production systems, and you need to think at that level to balance nutrients, to balance water, because the resources are not in this farm, so impact the other. This is in the philosophy of agroecology, and we want to advance on this landscape scale.
Including ecotourism activities and models. And the idea with the Euro region, urban and auxiliary region, for instance, is biking or horses.
Oh, yes.
Or anything related to this, to hiking, all together across the border. In fact, now we are, for instance, in collaboration talking with the Catholic Church, and I'm not kidding, of how to recover again the Santiago way, the Vicky way, from El Rocío to Santiago de Compostela, passing through Algarve heritage with horses and biking. This is one of the initiatives. It's exciting because you are the one to tell us, Paulo, where are the posts, the pasos, not the markers. And this can create a new recovery of the people, of the economy, of this sustainable casa sostenible. That's the idea behind socioeconomics of the recovery of preservation of the tradition. Who tiene the disposal state of Faro, ICT, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but for people.
I'll go by car as coche escoba.
Hay muchas actividades luego de indígenas, náhuatl, having said that, I will shut because I will pass the floor to Livia Madureira. Livia, are you there? De la Universidad of Trasmontes en Alto Douro. Livia?
Livia, we can hear you. cannot hear you.
Ok. Bem-vinda. Bom dia. Como estás? Onde ficas agora?
I cannot see. Yeah, good. I cannot hear you, Livia.
Tens problema con su micrófono.
Frank, are you there? Frank, please. Pablo, no. Pablo, no. We cannot hear you. So maybe Joaquin, can you check if you can speak, please? I don't know if he's here.
Intanto, con sua licenza, Livia, estamos a parar agora. Entanto, os problemas técnicos vamos a continuar com outra apresentação. Eu acho que é o turno de Kelly. Eu acho que temos que falar do negócio e depois a Anabela Caneiro, bem-vinda. Bem-vinda a Lentejana, a nossa pátria Lentejana, é um técnico. Estamos a falar depois, muito interessante.
No sé por qué, no sé.
Sí, pero no ponme la misma pasada. Vamos a pasar bien.
No se escucha.
No.
Okay.
Sí, sí.
Okay.
I need the presentation, no? It's just downloading the presentation. So I'm gonna make the presentation also together with Sofia Bass, that is a colleague from Portugal. It's online already. We see if she is able also to speak or not.
Let me check, please,
Yeah.
because I have to share.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Tú bien? Igualmente, también da Alentejo.
Puedes tú probar si está. No, yo necesito la otra. We are gonna try also to see if we can fix the problem while I'm speaking. After to.
¿Atreves a seguir en portugués?
No. No. O meu português agora não é muito bom. Então eu prefiro falar em espanhol. Ou em inglês, sorry, in English. So I know that all the time when it comes to this presentation is like so many expectations, because we are going to talk about funding, about money and everything and so on. I just wanted to say that we have to think about what has been said in the previous session on 11th, and we are just revising all the draft programs that we have. Some of them are finalized, like in territorial cooperation programs, but for example, for Horizon Europe is, okay, yeah, but for Horizon Europe is something that we have to still think about it. So just take like drafts sometimes. We are going to talk specifically, because it's Spain-Portugal, about the territorial cooperation between Spain and Portugal. That is the POCTEP program. It's already approved, so we are now going through all the details. Research and Innovation Horizon Europe is something still on draft, but we have identified very promising areas. Also, my colleague Sofia will talk about cost action, that we are already involved in one of them as a LifeWatch-ERIC research infrastructure that is supporting this cost action. And then she will talk also as regard the opportunities for biodiversity. So going very fast, you know that POCTEP is still working through all the frontier, all the border between Spain and Portugal, but is focusing still in some areas, like, for example, Andalucía, Algarve, Alentejo, or Alentejo, Extremadura in north. Going through directly the specific objectives, we have those that they are very important for SMART, since they are ICT tools. Greener, that is when biodiversity comes into action. Also, because like what talk about gender issues, we have identified also the social and inclusive Europe. And for the Europe closer to citizens, because it's how the public administration can profit on ICT tools for planning. So I think that for the biodiversity is very important. And also we have one specific objective that is a better governance for cooperation that have identified for each cooperation area what needs to be done. And more connected Europe is embed in smart Europe in more social. So just to give you an idea, in every priority or even a specific objective, we have something that we have identified. And in this case, for the development and improvement of research and innovation capacities, there are areas and activities that can be done regarding low carbon economy, also climate change adaptation and resilience, or very important, the transfer of technologies for getting involved with all the firms and all the enterprises. That is something that we are doing also as LifeWatch-ERIC, and to cooperate and establish more research cross-border networks. That is the aim of the meeting that we are doing here. Also, and because what me showed before, all the time need to be aligned with all these smart specialization strategies, the before one, the former RIS3, and now the S4. But
So let's be clear, concrete. Number one, the establishment of a proposal joining Mertola and Doniana for this regard, for enhancing the cooperation Euroregion, Algarve, Alentejo, and Andalucía. Please, is anyone taking note? So the people who should be talking now is not taking note as usual. But please take note, please.
Yes, this.
I'm talking about my people. Well, maybe is taking note, please.
These are the specific that we have identified. Yes.
Paolo, you agree? Pedro, Lorena, I'm trying to be proactive just to say no, it's okay. So
these are specific. Okay, so if you see here, there are so many areas, but they are specific, identified for the cooperation. That is, for example, in digitalization advantages, that is specifically talking as the promotion of data management. That is something that in LifeWatch we are doing. So, and related to artificial intelligence and specifically with cybersecurity. So this is why I identify, okay?
AJ, Haifa, AJ, take care. Paulo, you got a CTO or something responsible of ICT in your institution? You're right. We are at full disposal to support you. I'm going to get back to Mertola. No, not here. Then later we discuss the names of the people to be in charge for the writing of this, including here the nanosensors and everything. Because later our colleague Sonia Pazos, she's from Galicia, by the way, from the INER for sensors, is going to talk about this cooperation in relation to nanosensors. For the pathology, ecophysiology, the tracking of the birth systems, we are working on miniaturization of the sensors. That's very important to reduce the weight of the sensors. So that, por favor, tomar nota de lo de la nave y todo lo demás, ¿vale? Sobre lo que sea,
So the other one that is also very...
El 3 que era? No hay 3.
No, I just identified those that they are really for the cooperation. So now is as you see, because they talk about capacities, but in relation to smart specialization, they talk about transition to climate neutrality.
The money, digitalization of research and technology centers, they will be according to the needs, specific needs of LifeWatch-ERIC for the internationalization, not only at the European level, but beyond with Africa, Union, and Latin America, Caribbean, both Mertola and ERIC needs of extra funding for the reformers of the digitalization of research and technology centers. You know what I mean? Extra money for ICT. And then Paulo, Pedro, Lorena, so they will decide what to do at the capacity scales. But we need the cables, we need that's money as well.
For the new ways for service provision, they say specifically sustainable development, circular economy, biotechnology, blue economy, Internet of Things, and also artificial intelligence.
Municipality of Mertola, for instance, the smart city in our the rural areas for the measure to provision them. Because if you want to get data to the citizens, you need to get good communication in our systems. We need to invest the money in that. My motto is not giving back any
Penny.
To Brussels.
Any penny.
To stay in our territories. Okay.
Okay, so the specific one for climate change adaptation, they set and they promote the shared use of infrastructures and equipment, also devoted to the establishment of management plans. So if you see, we can work in all integration actions like fauna, flora, water, protected areas, and also regarding to ecosystem, that is very important, the knowledge of potential impact. So they are talking all the time, data availability.
Lorena, with your permission, Sarah, sorry. Could be Sarah at our disposal for this activity?
Yeah.
Pedro, who could be the intervention usually with Sarah?
Let me see.
Take note, because they will give all the names to the European.
Thank you.
All.
May I ask something?
Yes.
May I ask something quickly? When you're talking about countries outside of European Union and Africa and Latin America and so on, I mean, would there be a possibility to work together with like World Bank or other?
Yes. In fact, Maite, who is there, is working with the Fondo Monetario in Latin Americano.
Okay.
Latin America Caribe, that's the idea.
Okay.
And after you will see connections with Africa when we move on.
All right.
And the capacity building, for instance, is clear the capacity building. CBO has a key role in Angola, in all the plants, or CBO, in all the Portuguese-speaking languages, countries, and so on.
So I know that you are very in love with green infrastructure. So there are also a specific slot.
Do something. Enrique Alonso García, our dearest council of state of Spain, is one of the key persons in the establishment not only the Spanish, but the Iberian, jointly with the República Portuguesa, and the European Union, the establishment of the European Green Infrastructure. We are talking about cross-border ecological connectors network. A veces te pares, Polo.
So it's for the reason that this is a very good opportunity. If we focus even in green, I mean, this specific priority. So working with this priority, we can also embed all those objectives that we have done before. It's just only to show you that we have opportunities and to find exactly what we the best.
In fact, vamos a ir cerrando, porque luego la gente se va y no concretamos. ¿Estáis tomando nota, no, José Manuel?
Sí.
Bien. Estar cerrado, la Universidad del Garbia, estuvo antes,
sí.
Espectacular. La presentación de todos los ecosistemas marinos, especies invasores, algas, o papel socioeconómico en el anterior. Es muy importante. No solamente es agroecology o forestry, pero también marine waters.
Inland
marine waters, inland waters, el estuario de Formosa, estuario de Guadiana, tudo. No voy a falar agora sobre a problemática del camalote, muy conocida por nós.
So moving to the other one, as you see, is the ICT use and data mining. So this is also from the perspective that we are engaging with biking, with horses and things like that.
Archaeology.
Also.
I got an exciting idea. It's not a very it's the biodiversity archaeology or biodiversity to create a competence center in Mertola in relation to how you can follow the evolution of ecosystems by studying the substrate, the proofs of the land. How you can go through.
We have a group of what's called environmental archaeology.
So
and they work on that.
Let's language chat. Vamos a language chat.
They do archaeology, zoology, and archaeology.
Okay.
Excellent.
Good. This is very good.
That the person that is going to be in charge of this, Adam, te tocó.
Yes, sure.
Are you sure? Are you interested in how to apply archaeology, environmental archaeology, and connections with all everything?
Why not? Yes.
Let's try to coordinate this activity.
An aspect of this is like civilizations that disappeared because of ecological problems. And we have a history of that. It's like Rapa Nui or the Mayas or also.
In connection with UNESCO,
Cambodia. Is it Cambodia or where is it? Somewhere there.
I think it's more than that because if you have the archaeology, you have the reference conditions of our ecosystems, how they have changed, how the responses to climate change, and what's the reference condition that we would like to achieve.
Indeed, indeed.
Conectamos con UNESCO y conectamos con Austria, con Centro Europa. Pedro es el responsable del ITER Portugal. ¡Qué casualidad!
Too many things.
You are going to have so many homeworks, Pedro. So many homeworks. And as I said before, the specific objective that is focused on each area for Alentejo, Algarve, Andalucía is exactly this that they have identified: biodiversity conservation, rural environments mainly, and also strategic lines regarding digital connectivity. So all the time thinking about new governance.
You, Paulo, with your permission. Paulo, Seth, and someone else.
No, it needs to be done because the call is opening on November. It's opening in November, the call, and it's finishing in December. So we need to start working. Yeah.
And a lot of people
Yeah.
What's the deadline, you know?
Middle of December, they have said, but I will ask directly. I will ask directly to our internal contact to know exactly the timetable, but I know that it's going to start in 1st of November and more or less middle of December. But I think they are eager also to get holidays, so maybe they go for January. You know, I will talk to.
A veces se me ocurre ahí con lo de la casa. Lo del cross-border.
Lo de ecological, esto.
Sí. Entre Alentejo, vais a Alentejo. Bueno, de Alentejo en particular. A través de. Vais a Algarve, vais a Alentejo. Vais a Alentejo.
Sí, the region is Alentejo. Now we can do is with all the contents, we wrap up, we identify the pathway to go through the POPTEP and then to cover all the details that we have discussed. This is supposed to be the way that we are going to do. Okay?
Y agora estamos a trabalhar con São Paulo, a trabalhar muito, mas também tem a persona técnica, eu posso contratar também a pessoa. Eu acho que, com vossa licença, Sofia Bar,
Sí, ahora después. CBO, sí. Falei con él así. Okay. So, just to show you very briefly, since these are drafts, so maybe can continue in the draft in the work program final or not, but I wanted to show you that we also have identified in Horizon Europe that they have international cooperation. We have already identified topics with collaboration with Latin America and Africa, okay? But to show you that we are mainly working on the Pillar 2, that is for societal challenges, and also we are working for a Pillar 1 that we are, of course, a resource infrastructure, why not? But to focus also in Marie Curie grants for moving people between international countries outside Europe. And when you were discussing about the Network for Agroecology, in the European Innovation Ecosystems, that is Pillar 3, we are also trying to get in contact with all the project officers to see if we can move this network that we are working through this European Innovation Ecosystem. So this is something that we are continue, and in that way we can involve with so many other third countries outside Europe, but they are funded by Horizon Europe. So exactly. Exactly.
Como por ejemplo, naciones africanas de lengua portuguesa, ficando en Mértola.
Sí, se puede.
Para capacitación de Living Labs. How we can transfer that knowledge from Mértola, we can take into consideration these things, step by step.
Not everything is in Mértola.
No,
Yeah.
no. I say Doña.
Okay, so just to be clear that we have especially focused on the cluster 6, that it's for agriculture, biodiversity. And as you see, There are even some topics that they are still in discussion, like for example, this one that just appeared in the last version of the program, that is digital for nature, that we are going to follow very quickly and we are going to trying to intervene as fast as possible, because they are still thinking about if it's going to be a research and innovation action or an innovation action. The difference is the funding, 100% or 70%. So as you see, is for example, this one is regarding mapping 16 databases for biodiversity, and ensure also interoperability of available data. So this topic is very interesting for LifeWatch-ERIC. Also, as you see, there is the impact of digital transformation. Is talking as regard better understanding of the impact with the smart technologies, all the time repeating in artificial intelligence. I'm going, but these still are not finished. We don't know if they are going to be there.
Regina Zamora, are you there? Regina?
I think we have that. Maybe we have.
We still have the problems with the
Which,
connection.
by the way, one of the coordinators right there from Sierra Nevada. Are you there?
I think he's here, but
Look at the chat, maybe
yeah, in the chat.
in the chat.
Because I was to propose
Yeah, I understand, but I will try.
within the framework of LifeWatch to have a leadership on the coordination
Let me
of
check.
these proposals. To appoint someone from Portugal, from
connection.
ICT, and from our side, an Iberian
Appointment.
joint venture to say, let's do this from Évora.
I'm trying.
Bueno, amigo de Teresa Freitas. Elena Freitas.
No, ya no.
Panorama, ¿y aquí?
Pero coger ese liderazgo. No está.
No, el problema es que
Lo
no se
siento
puede.
mucho. Puedo tener poco tiempo.
Sí.
Y que esté tal que
Ponme
no.
otra vez la presentación.
Se me entiende luego.
Sí, ponme la presentación.
Rojaifa, please take note to join with the Regina and Enrique Herrera to be in touch very soon with Pablo.
¿Funciona? Sí.
Pero, disregard. Okay?
And when we move to healthy and friendly food systems, that as you see, they are all the time talking about platforms for evidence. They are talking all the time providing data and also using this data for getting more planning ahead. So this is for the reason that we have identified this topic. And as you see, we are already working in the agroforestry management for climate change adaptation and mitigation.
Lorena, Sara, José Manuel, Pedro, Pablo. Esto es importantísimo. Muy importante.
It's a topic in collaboration with Africa. It's obliged to have international cooperation. This one, the agroforestry management for climate change adaptation and mitigation.
Pedro Bella ha colaborado también con Lorena. Es la misma cosa correspondencia, como hablamos, recordamos Bruno Ferran, de la SAP Latinoamérica en Caribe. Maite Irazaba, ¿te puedes poner bien? Maite Irazaba is Uruguay. This is going to be the person in charge of the cooperation with Latin America and Caribbean, where for sustainable technology, tienes también un papel importante.
What's the deadline for this project?
No, these are still on draft.
Oh, that's great.
We are going
Te encargas de coordinarlos a ellos
Okay.
en su día a día, con su día a día, a que no pierdan comba and how to link with Central Europe as well, please.
Sí,
La
claro.
Australia.
No, lo que estaba pensando, I was thinking about this project, we could do something in Mozambique with the World Bank.
Gracias. Pedro,
good.
That might be an idea.
Yeah.
We can discuss the strategy because we have already connections.
We have a strategy specifically for this. Well, we are preparing a strategy for this topic, a concept note of the project and the potential partners, so we can share with all of you to start working. This is for 2024, so we have more or less 1 year to work.
To prepare, but we have already working. Okay. And well, you see that also there are, because our connection with MIRI. Yes, you talk about green medicine, you also talk about the connection with MIRI. And so it's for the reason.
the connection with the BBRI, biological ban research infrastructure that is in establishing grass with Professor Carl Lucar and Ryan Fisher, as I told you.
Yesterday.
And we're working on that in medicines, another aspect of this. And there are a lot of endemic plants from Portugal, Spain, the Iberian Peninsula, that are very important for the pharmaceutical. They're very interested in.
Yes, it's for develop and test new alternatives to traditional antimicrobial medicinal products. So this is perfect for what we were talking yesterday night.
Just to get yours.
I just update the presentation. All the people talk about forests, so it's for the reason we wanted to include it also here. And we are already in contact with the European Partnership of Agricultural Data. We have working with them in the Strategic Research Innovation Agenda. So this is something that we are proposing ideas and things for the draft, okay? It's for the reason I put it there. And as you see, there are even included specific areas for data spaces and digital and data technologies. They are sometimes focusing on agriculture, on forestry, other time in livestock, because, you know, at the end you have to go through all the areas of biodiversity, but we can find topics. And as you see, also there are digital and data technology in governance and data-driven solutions.
Let's pass this as, this is more Eric. Let's go to the point, cost actions.
Sí, that is for Sofía.
So I will
Hello.
later you can go.
Can you hear me?
Let's go to the facts.
I think that Sofía is there.
Is there, Sofía?
Sofía?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Testing
yes.
1 1.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, sorry. Yeah. Thank you. For me, I'm trying to follow up with the audio. So basically, cost actions. They are relevant in this context. They are not specific for collaboration between Portugal and Spain, but for other European members, but also outside Europe. But they are a good point for entering into this Horizon Europe that Katie was just mentioning. So just for you to have an idea of the cost action proposals that are approved, they get a 37% success rate in the Horizon Europe program. So it was the Horizon 2020 and so forth. So cost actions are mostly directed to networking, and they found networking and exchange of knowledge events. And this goes up to training schools where knowledge is transferred to young researchers, but also postdoctoral researchers, the short-term scientific missions, time abroad, where knowledge can be transferred, organization of meetings and mobility, and even virtual networking tools. So they are made for networking and different entities from academia to businesses, government, and other type of organizations. You can go to the other slide, please. So at the moment in this cost action call, which is opened this year until the 20th of October, next week. So as far as I'm concerned, LifeWatch is involved in two cost action applications. One is being led by Alberto Basset, and it's more specifically on the topic of alien species. So how these e-science services and data can be used to mainstream the mapping, the assessment of alien invasive species, and the other one led by me on digital nature. So how can online digital data and artificial intelligence and even LifeWatch science infrastructure can be used to promote online data for monitoring nature at the European scale. So here the cost actions are again founded by the framework program 9 under the Horizon Europe. You can see here some numbers. So almost 86 million euros per year will be provided, which will allow for 75 or more or less 75 cost actions to be approved. This means a success rate of 17%. At least this was the success rate of approval in 2022. And more than half of these cost actions are actually from the natural sciences, so we stand a good chance here. So that's cost actions are mostly focused on EU member states, but they also involve the network abroad. In these cost actions we are now developing, we have members from Asia, but also from the Americas. And the process is one single stage call, which is mostly about finding a good consortium, having a strong technical annex up to 15 pages, and wait for the results, which will come out hopefully in May 2023. And even if LifeWatch is it's not leading these proposals, or if we are not well succeeding in these proposals, we may still join other proposals that are running and will run and can benefit from the science platform from LifeWatch. Here's just a screenshot of how to find different partners. And then we move to biodiversity, I'm not sure how to call it in English, which is now the biodiversity plus. It comes from the previous program from biodiversity, and is now part of the European Union biodiversity strategy for 2030. So the main goal of biodiversity is to provide support to this strategy and to provide support to what is called the transformative change through the European Biodiversity Partnership Network. And so this biodiversity supports different activities from data management, policy implementation, and the most recent call that is up to November 9 is about improving transnational monitoring of biodiversity and ecosystem change for society, for science and society. So this is well aligned with the vision of LifeWatch and also the different partners that are here present today. And it is a two-stage proposal. So until the 9th of November, it's about getting together, bringing together pre-proposal, a simple proposal of ideas and novelty. And then if the pre-proposal is eligible, and it fits the scope of the call, it will be invited to submit a full proposal, a more developed one. So this is the goods about biodiversity. The bads is that Portugal has a very low budget compared to, for instance, Spain, and as you can see here on this table. And the biodiversity also requires at least 3 partners, at least in this specific call for these years. Which in each partner or country has its own rules and its own budget. So it's not that attractive, but again, it can serve as an entry portal for other applications. And then some information that is already available for biodiversity is the different topics that they will follow this 2022 call. And next ones will be about nature-based solutions, a very hot topic in the Horizon Europe vision and Europe in general, and on societal transformation. And I think that's it at the European level. Then we also have, as you were already mentioning, different collaborations which are founded by the Portuguese FCT, but also the Ministerio de Ciencia in Spain. And we have been developed joint projects, especially with between CBU and the University of Granada with the Regino Domingo. We actually have a climate media project, an Earth Call project, which will benefit from the e-science infrastructure from LifeWatch and also the people that are involved in the network. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hello, we can hear you.
I don't have the microphone here, so thank you, Sophia. Okay, sorry. So thank you, Sophia, and we will continue working on these funding opportunities.
Yes, because many of these opportunities can be seen in the different office. In fact, later, it was more interesting, Anabela, please come to come here and to talk about the to talk about the real opportunities. In a way, I have an interest because in 20 minutes we must abandon this room. We're trying to do in parallel our best to meet in another room. And it's very important to
not finalize, move later with some conclusions. Facts. So this.
Sorry, don't put my presentation. I'm going to change everything after.
Oh, okay. So, okay, no presentation. Okay, sorry.
Sí, sí, la cámara.
Yeah, please.
Ya traía por ahí una presentación, pero después de lo que estoy escuchando por aquí, que veo que lo que estaba por ahí, ya tenemos que cambiar. Entonces, la agencia de Alentejo, de desarrollo del territorio de Alentejo, trabaja con una región, porque tenemos una gestión del territorio muy diversa de los españoles. Entonces, este territorio, que es un tercio del territorio de Portugal, pero tenemos 5%, es una región de México, tenemos algunos desafíos. Este tema de las redes, de trabajar juntos, es algo que nos preocupa mucho y estamos buscando soluciones para ello. Entonces, esta agencia está trabajando en este momento con muchísimos proyectos en el tema de economía azul, los mapas, la digitalización de los territorios. Entonces, lo que estamos haciendo en este momento es una relación primero con los ayuntamientos de nuestro territorio, después con la comunidad científica, y después vamos afuera de nuestras fronteras. Y ahí sí que vamos a buscar a partners en España con quien trabajamos muchísimo. Y también tenemos una cosa que a mí me parece que eso que lo traía más, que es el trabajo que hacemos con las asociaciones. Y voy a dar un ejemplo muy claro. Dos asociaciones a nivel europeo, una que se llama IberLifeWatch, que es una asociación que mete 3 países europeos, en donde están representados por cada país varios ayuntamientos de ese país. Entonces, lo que puedo tener con esta asociación es un relato real de las necesidades de los territorios. También trabajamos con una asociación que se llama In Rural Europe. ¿Eso por qué? Porque el tema de los territorios rurales es muy importante. En esta asociación lo que tenemos son territorios rurales que se han metido juntos y que están por ahí pensando en las temáticas que pueden ser importantes para el desarrollo de sus territorios. Entonces, lo que tenemos con ellos es la percepción real de la necesidad que tenemos, y cuando vamos a plantear proyectos, como estaba viendo aquí, porque buscamos este partner o este partner, lo que tenemos es que esta experiencia de trabajar como network en red con asociaciones es una forma más sencilla de encontrar una respuesta a lo que estamos haciendo. Por ejemplo, cuando estamos hablando de esta asociación que es Red de Vin, que es una red de ciudades de vino que está manejada por ayuntamientos, tenemos 3 países. En estas, lo que se hace en este momento en España que está recibiendo esta asociación. Entonces, lo que tenemos es un panorama muy real de estos temas que podemos apuntar como vino, tecnología, turismo sostenible. Y vamos a buscar a esta asociación que nos digan quién son los partners, qué necesidad tienes para plantear nuestras candidaturas que van a ser proyectos. Entonces, lo fundamental de todo esto que estamos por ahí escuchando y que es muy importante es cómo tener una buena red de partners que nos puedan ayudar a buscar y a plantear la candidatura que sea una respuesta concreta a la necesidad de nuestros territorios. Entonces estaba por ahí escuchando que decía, trabajan esto que necesitamos hacer con gente diferente, con temas diferentes, que lo que tenemos nosotros en Alentejo y que estamos por ahí disponibles para buscar partners, no solamente en Portugal o en Alentejo, pero también por toda la red de contactos que tenemos muy buenos casos prácticos, donde hemos tenido en Cosme, Erasmus, Horizon 2020, muchísima experiencia en eso. Y creo que en cuanto a esto se puede ver en el desarrollo de los territorios es muy importante. Y en los casos prácticos que hemos tenido, que después de un proyecto hecho a nivel europeo, que puedes ver que tu territorio, que es un territorio pequeñito, rural, que es lo que nos caracteriza, Eso es muy, muy interesante. Como el tema del agua, que estamos por ahí teniendo muchos proyectos con el tema del tema del alqueva, porque Alentejo no es solamente agricultura, tenemos agricultura y pescas con el mar, con cines. Entonces, este tema que está por ahí, que son temas muy, muy importantes, lo estamos también trabajando. Y también con el tema de la cultura. Entonces, disculpen, pero mi presentación ha sido toda una otra cosa porque lo que tenía era algo diferente. Deciros que de parte de la Agencia de Desarrollo de Alentejo, estamos por ahí, lo que necesitáis, tenemos una red de trabajo que necesitamos también vuestra ayuda. Entonces, si está por ahí del tiempo, si queréis mejor.
No, perfecto, perfecto todos. Mejor que todos. La realidad de Duviño,
Lo que tenía que presentar era un tema muy focado en el vino.
No, no trajes eso.
No va a ser tanto eso porque el desarrollo de los territorios a través del vino.
No, muchas veces ha comenzado la agroecología con vino sostenible,
con la agricultura y con la agua. Porque el tema del agua es un tema que a nosotros ahora nos encarga, porque tenemos un embalse de alqueva muy grande que tiene agua por la agricultura, pero a montante no tenemos agua. Y también con el tema de la agricultura intensiva. Esos son los temas que en este momento estamos trabajando, estudiando por ahí, que son fundamentales para vivir. Es que hace algún tiempo no teníamos tampoco agua para beber. Ahora sí con este tema. Pero los cambiamientos climáticos y todo esto, lo que se ve es que en territorios que tenían el vino como su tema central de crecimiento de su economía, en estos temas ahora nos hacen toda la diferencia.
Eu vou proponer outro muito interessante. Estar a falar com a Associação de Geologia da Europa, fica em Viena também, Geoparque, Geobiodiversidade. A realidade é que Águas do Machado, Sherpa Sarracena, é o maior reservório de água de toda a Península Ibérica. O maior reservório que está presente. La idea central podría ser la creación de una geoparque de geodiversidad transfronteriza. Entre Alentejo, Serra de Huelva, há muito interés do Comitê de Geociência Europeu, vou passar os contatos, o estabelecimento. Há muitos germanos detrás, de Alemania, hay muchos alemanes. Es la idea de eso, de que hacemos, que nos juntamos ya un geoparque en biodiversidad alucinante ahí. Y hay muchos fondos. Es una idea muy bonita que podríamos hacer.
Eso con el tema de energía, que hace la gestión del parque Alqueva. Son múltiples.
Y el tema de aves y tal, como las aves indican dónde hay agua, dónde no hay agua, dónde hay pasado del agua. Esa es otra idea, esa es preciosa. Y a Reino Unido, de Naciones Unidas, ¿vale? Ahora cuando vayamos, creo que la idea ahora es cuando terminemos irnos todos a un restaurante a trabajar y a comer. Una especie de aquí de improvisación para ir cerrando estos temas. Ketty, me gustaría, Emilio, que pusierais ahí, antes de irnos, muy explicado. Anabela, no te vayas, porque Ketty, Anabela, Ketty, Lorena. Queremos terminar, no terminar, antes que nos echen la habitación. Ahora que tenemos una pantalla aquí enseñando. No, Sonia, no, lo siento.
No, perdona.
No.
Disculpa.
Los fondos europeos. La realidad es. Se acabó. Siento, I'm very sorry to be very rough. Sorry for that police. But let's move to the point before we're moving, because then we are disseminating. I sincerely apologize for the logistics, because we were promised to have at least 4 hours of this book, and they only allow 2 hours. So I think typing, find another way to be told together, because now when so many people to carry on in an effective way. Okay? I'm sorry, I sincerely apologize, because Sonia will be there and the rest of the speakers, and we must go. Alan came from Vienna, especially for this. We will continue. He must report to the Secretary of the Interior. This is a unique opportunity, and we must focus on what is expected to do. First of all, to meet each other, we are going to continue that, and to consolidate this, and the money that we got in the pot is this, we're going to do this. No, porque si no, well, that's it. That's the idea. This is the idea. Si no, da igual, es que no. Que hubiera venido la gente también, es lo que te digo. Pero aquí la gente que ha hecho el esfuerzo es la que tiene prioridad. This is the consequence after our magnificent meeting held in Seville. Pedro was there. Muito obrigado por la contribución, porque fue el que salvó la reunión y el que puso las cosas muy obrigado. La vamos a priorizar. Y ahora, pues, vamos a ver si esto queda bien. En el POVE 2014-2020 del Fondo Estructural para Andalucía, por Andalucía, 64 million euros. For those 64 million euros, the 36% is out 23,040,000. For that internationalization, we are going to share in the context of Euregion, Algarve, Alentejo, Andalusia, these projects. Now, I have not written down the figures, but that don't exist. First, the creation of a powerful technical team, that's what I'm telling, I will come later with Sofia, in relation to biodiversity. We got a capital seat of 50,000, 1,000, 100,000 euros for that. We need to put the names there. CAF, AMBI, Sujar Project, Lorena, Burkina Faso, Cabo Verde, Angola. I'm writing down only the Portuguese. Why Portuguese? Because Africa is more to do, but Guinea Equatorial to Spain for migratory units. But almost, I didn't know I didn't want to put money there, not because I want not to bite my tongue when I promise in public. No, but this is true. Everybody knows. We need to put the names to our project. We will list in this presentation. Number 3, Cibertris. This is a center, transboundary, interpretation, biodiversidad, región, Algarve, Alentejo, Andalucía. That's the AAA center to be established. Between Sherpa initially and Algarve. This is something to be discussed with you. At political level, I don't want to touch any sensibility. No quiero más sensibilidad política. Pero Sherpa dio un paso adelante, la alcaldesa de Villaverde de Picasso, contarla allí, a la Carimértora y Rosana. ¿Vale? Y hay una conexión ahí con el CIVIA, que es el centro de interpretación del suplemento y basado en la agroecología. Vamos a ver tres: Pedro, José Manuel Pablo, José Manuel Livia, Rosa Mosquera, todas esas personalidades de Portugal enlazadas en la agroecología. Lorena, estamos ahí. Y también, perdón, para un centro de interpretación de la agroecología que va a tener unos puntos. Aquí está la teniente alcalde, hola, de La Palma del Condado, que será pronto la alcaldesa y no puedo hablar más, en esa planta. ¿Cómo lo creamos con Pablo? Lo ponemos más en nuestro alcalde, es un solo, alguien para el sitio. ¿Queremos dinero? Hay dinero en LifeWatch-ERIC, no dinero de España, no. Dinero de LifeWatch-ERIC que debido a la solidaridad interterritorial, porque hay que cohesionar internamente, se invierte en Andalucía, pero por ejemplo sirve para contratar a gente en Portugal. No sé si me explico. Y es legal. Estamos haciendo historia. De hecho, hemos recibido, Adán, un reconocimiento del Parlamento Europeo a la mejor acción. Hemos dicho, este dinero viene para aquí. Pero yo tengo problemas con mi vecino y quiero compartir. Pero no puedo dar mi dinero. Pero se puede invertir aquí para que vengan y hagamos cosas ahí. Y como todo está en la nube, y las aves llevan sensores, si la ave pasa a Portugal, y todo le va. No es nada raro, es cooperación, que es lo que quiere Europa. Europa tiene necesidades de cooperación. No, si dice, esto es para en Algeciras, en Gibraltar. Rector de la Universidad de Gibraltar, South Marroco, también hay un centro de equipo con ámbito de no ámbito do braçal estrecho de Gibraltar. Eu tenho que dizer que há uma atividade de suceso que es en Alborán. Hay un laboratorio compartido entre España y Portugal en Alborán. Y lo llevan uno. Está en uno. Lo llevan uno. Resulta que el mejor observatorio de la situación de biodiversidad no sé, fica Isla de Alborán y uno Ferrando. O sea, que uno ya está. Si tú estás preocupado, uno está ya otra. El pobre está ya súper saturado. Y en Alborán, fíjate, se dice. IBAI, Consejos de Serpa, Mértola, Rosario Frontera. Actividades de turismo como mountain bike. Mesh o truco es sensores debajo del coste, debajo del asiento de las cities, para medir parámetros, pollen, etc. To measure pollinators, pollen, and so on. This is based on a successful activity that Chusmit, remember Chusmit is very sick, by the way, so you Santa Maria, the cancer came is fighting against cancer, again with chemotherapy, so this was a brand thing seal. Like Plus Respira, that is the use of sensors for low cost in the biking for tourists under the seat. So the mountain bikers go to the countryside and in places that are lacking accessibility, of difficult accessibility, how can measure? It's the same with the horse, Nissan as well, with the horses. So, ahora esto es muy interesante también de ropa, las bici, los caballos, to support citizen science, not dissemination, don't get confused. Citizen science activities. So, the main time that there is an eco-curious activity, you are getting data. Places you can get there with a satellite, a sensor, or something else. Hijos, consejos de Serpa, Mértola, Rosario Frontera, because this is about the water of paseos a caballo with the sensors as well. On EBB there is 1.2 million euro. This is something to be discussed in detail with both of you, Pablo and Susayardo, because this is to create a task force, very strong task force on services in the Iberian Peninsula. Pedro made a magistral presentation of the necessity of putting in value the landscape. In data conversation, you are very nice publication on that, by the way, landscape and ecosystem sciences. I don't know how you manage to put all together. Your paper is amazing. Because you demonstrate this in scientific knowledge, the importance of conservation, paisage, non-visual learning with the systems. We need to work to really your good practice, your supply. No, please. Someone is good, we must recognize. So, Gender Watch with Elena Freitas, also with that, University of Edinburgh, for the establishment of this big high-level group of women in relation to Gender Watch in the countryside, the role of the woman for the sustainable development and biodiversity. This is very important as well, for instance, in Morocco. El third, Pedro Beja. Enzo Eusolaris, Eric and Munosa, United Nations Outer Office Space Agency. Pedro Beja, myself, Jaime Lobo. He has been a former officer of EUSPA, European Space Program Agency. He's here to work on that, supporting as well the National Agency of Space to Seguir lately, and to support the overall LifeWatch-ERIC to have collaborative centers for. Because you know very well that LifeWatch-ERIC succeeded to get the United Nations Outer Office Space Agency for Biodiversity and Climate Change main office to LifeWatch-ERIC. It doesn't imply necessarily to be only Andalusia. Spain will be also shared with the administration. ETC UMA, Pedro, this is the connection with the Mediterranean Knowledge Hub you were interested in very much. Just one point. That is not me. It's the no, it's not me. But just now, we are putting the name just due to the topic. No. It's due to the site who must be behind. Because we couldn't find the next. Just Africa. Because we don't have the name. Jerif. What Jerif? No, take by the way. Where the was, but it's a refill. Take by the way. Apago Pano. It's that interview yesterday on tape. Perfect. Geovol Europavol. It's very important. Regina Zamora, I don't know if it's there. It's very interesting. Join with you, Pedro and Jaime. because this is a very interesting initiative. Now, also, colega y amigo Enrique Pereira, fica en Germania, también era escéptico, fui escéptico y ahora está mejor. Después de no sé, el suceso es muy extraño. El suceso meeting there came siguió de la serie y su reunión de las servicios sistemas de vuelta. And so solar, so this is the connection, and cooperations with international activities on high mountains, Glochamor Mountain Research Initiative, and Geo Mountains. This is because you, joining with Pedro Vega, were talking about the connection with Serra da Estrella.
I'm sorry, we're going to stop because we need to prepare the meeting.
One minute. We have been strong supporters and founders of the initiative. We got to be the surprise for you. Correct. That's the problem of the net activity of the STV. Initiative of Glochamor and also the connection with Atlas, with Morocco, North Africa. Because as you said before, it's not only about it's also with Morocco, not with Andalusia, Spain. And this is the paradigm of how we can foster activities of ecosystem joining with Morocco, with the overall, this is including issues with me, this is a very high level political Nelson Lima, who interviewed yesterday as well, not the day before yesterday, on Braga, which is because we're investing 1.1 million euro in the common development of ICT instruments for and in that contribution. These are explicitly in supercomputing to ICAST Malaga. No? The connection with Malaga, the Million de Zapata, we're doing that. It's an integral contribution to the overall community. And Virtual Research Environment of Phytoplankton with the Spencer Rao, the Universidad de Algarve, and Inigo González. We are improving our magnificent virtual research environment for marine activities by introducing the best state of art activities. So these 20, and I have finished, 23 projects suppose almost 1 million and a little bit more funds to be co-developed between Algarve and Andalusia. So I think that I must finish this presentation saying this good news. This money is in the bank account. We need to organize the program to mobilize this. And we are here to identify the twin places in Portugal. It is not to be. Now I discovered, well, I knew about network, the complicity, no? La complicidad entre La Palma, es unos históricos. Estamos a trabalhar e agora mesmo vamos a sitio con ustedes. Desculpas, sinceras desculpas por todos o resto de intervenções, mas o problema é que 2 horas solamente, quando están previstos 3. It was planned 2-3 hours and we cannot, so we prefer to continue privately talking among us. Sincera apologies. Thank you very much. Ahí vamos a proseguir. Venga, vamos abajo. Que no se olvide de eso.